All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hillside Garden. And today, I just want to show you a couple things. These are my lychee tomatoes. I don't know if you've ever seen those grow before, but they have some pretty savage spikes here on the stems there. Typical nightshade flowers that are white. So I was going to do a kind of a garden walkthrough today because it's the just past the summer solstice here in the northern hemisphere. And I was just going to kind of just show you, do a little walkthrough of my plants and everything like that. Well, I've actually decided to shift gears, and what I want to talk about today is this right here. Now this is crabgrass, there's some purslane, there's some other stuff growing down here that I don't know what it is. And it makes me want to think about, if you've ever watched Charles Dowding, he's a gentleman from the UK, has a YouTube channel, tons and tons of videos, super awesome information. And his philosophy is dug soil, disturbed soil, is where the weeds are going to grow. And this is more just a walkway, if you will, between you walk in through the pallet garden, and we have plants down the side here, and of course you have the rows down here, and then it comes back on down this side here as well. Well, what I've done on this side here, this is the biodegradable black plastic, which I've placed down here like this as a weed barrier, and which goes all along this area down there. And then swinging it back around, this is actually mulched with a thick layer of grass clippings. You see the cucumbers in front of you that are on the ground. Kind of just letting this area kind of vine out and do what they will. But anyhow, there's a thick layer of grass below those as well. And if you go down here, you take my word for it, it's mulched up heavily with a very, very thick layer of the broken down hay bale. Hay bales I showed you previous before in the other episodes, how to let those compost down and use those particularly for mulch and weed suppression. But right here through this area, and I don't remember the reason why, but I think this was actually turned over or disturbed in some reason, I think. And this just goes to show you, and if you look at many permaculture resources, we're just read any information on that. Mother Nature does not want barren soil. At any cost, Mother Nature is going to cover the soil. There will be pioneer plants. This crabgrass is a point blank example. If there's an exposed part of your garden like this, you're going to start getting weeds. And where I live, crabgrass is an absolute nuisance plant that's going to find any little opportunity to grow. So, not to make this video too long, but what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to disturb the soil on purpose this time. I'm going to turn it over, hoe it in, and then I'm going to plant a cover crop. Since it's summertime, I'm going to use buckwheat. So buckwheat's a great idea to use for a summer cover crop. It's just going to fill this entire area here in of the garden that is in between the different rows. And you see this is getting pretty thick down here. So going through and pulling it all out is not really practical. These roots getting there pretty solid. But anyways, just so while you're here, sorry, this is purslane, and it is 100% edible. I've heard that before, and I've never tried it until the other day. I actually did try a little piece of it just to kind of humor myself. It doesn't taste bad. It's very neutral. It's very, it's very almost like iceberg lettuce kind of in a way. Just it really has no flavor. It's just kind of a green, watery leaf, But anyways, people pay a high dollar for that kind of stuff, and here I have it growing in the weeds in my exposed soil between the rows of my garden here, which I just thought was funny because, if you really try to, a lot of like high-end restaurants will make purslane salad or smoothies and things, and they'll charge you a lot of money, but it's a weed. So if you want to grow it, if you need to grow it, by all means, don't try to buy it. So anyways, getting back to the point, think about in your garden, at your farm, wherever you're growing your food, don't leave things exposed. Always use those grass clippings, use leaves, use whatever means you need to cover up this exposed soil, or you'll be fighting weeds nonstop. And I think it's funny because I actually, came out to the garden. I was working the other day, and I was like, I don't have anything to do. There was no weeds to pull, and there's no weeds, period, to pull, except for obviously right in front of you, but in the rows. I mean, everything's healthy. It's growing fine. There's no need to add fertilizer. This is super organic soil that has tons and tons of organic material in it, things like that. And the more you do things like this, the less you're going to have to do in the back end. Gardening doesn't have to be a lot of back-breaking labor. You don't need to be out here all day long, you know, pulling weeds and doing this and doing that. Disturbing your soil, interrupting, you know, the actual integrity of the soil is going to expose those weed seeds to light, which is going to cause them to germinate. And once they germinate, good luck getting rid of them. So I've already kind of let this go too far. I've had a lot of other projects going on, and kind of honestly in the last week this has gone from almost nothing to this. So it can happen quickly, guys, especially when it's warm and it rains a lot like we had lately. Weeds can take over quickly if you don't stay on top of it. So I'm going to turn this over today, hoe this all in, plant a cover crop of buckwheat. And once the buckwheat has grown, I'm going to chop and drop it, use it as mulch suppression, use that buckwheat as fertilizer, and use that as green manure for the rest of my rows here, along the peppers, behind the cabbages, corn, etc., etc. Nothing goes to waste. And then as soon as that buckwheat is, you know, cut down, I'm not going to till that in. Leave it unexposed, you know, undisturbed. Do not let the soil become exposed, and then be able to plant, you know, whether it be a clover or a different cover crop on top of that, or maybe I'll actually plant crops into it. Maybe after I take the buckwheat down here in front of you here, once this is all buckwheat and it's, you know, cut up and grown and everything, that'll stay down, and I can maybe put the fall crops, maybe some cabbages or kales or something that'll be a fall crop directly planted into the buckwheat. And then over here where the cucumbers are now, right here, whenever these guys are getting done, I'll be able to take this, cut the cucumber vines down, and actually plant maybe a fall cover crop on this side, maybe a winter wheat or something to that effect, you know, as a green manure cover crop as these crops are replaced. So this will become more of the walkway cover cropping, while this over here will become a usable cropping area. So I hope this helped, guys. I hope this kind of explained to you just my opinion, and you see the results in front of you. If you disturb your soil, if you leave your soil exposed, the weeds are going to find a way. They're going to find a way to grow and fill in that gap. It's not just going to stay a barren soil. So do yourself a favor. If you don't have the time to, you know, buy the mulch, or if you don't have time to get plastic down, use your grass clippings. Use whatever you have to. Just keep that, just a thick layer of mulch down. Wood chips, I know a lot of people do that. I have my own opinions of that, but in the walkways, wood chips do have a place. I'll give you that. Like I said, there's plenty of things you can use as a mulch to help keep that soil covered up and unexposed. That way weeds don't have a chance to take hold, which you'll be fighting a never-ending battle. These guys are going to go to seed and keep propagating, and the cycle will never end until you get the soil covered and give the weeds no chance to germinate. So guys, this is Dave, your Hillside Gardener, signing off right now. Please hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Join us next time here on the Hillside for more adventures, and we'll catch you later, guys. All right, bye.